Boss accidentally talked about me in front of me. Goodbye cake? Yesterday, after being in a hostile work environment for 5 years, I turned in my notice. My boss is a contributor to this, but I have done my best to be kind because this was a job I wanted to establish my career. As my boss entered the room with another coworker, I was behind my desk reading an email. I looked up, and my boss pointed his head to my desk and said with her, "We are going to make a custom cake to rub it in." This isn't the first time, of course, that he uses a party to make a statement to an employee. 4 people have left and I am next. I would love to imagine this cake was for some other person leaving. But it's for me. Maybe I need to be less sensitive, but I'm worried my last day will be a nightmare and full of humiliation. There is another coworker leaving this Friday, and they asked me to make the invitation, so I can't help but feel like they would like for me to know where I stand. Edit: the coworker leaving is getting a party. The person before did not even get a lunch with them. I was excluded from a team building exercise this past Friday, so I think this cake will be the most they do. Call in sick and skip the whole shebang. If they want cake with a side of humiliation, they can keep it to themselves. Your boss sounds like a 4-year-old, but I've been in TJID long enough to know this is how many bosses operate. They spend a lot of time ruminating on how to make statements and get revenge. Buy your own cake with "sorry for your loss" written on it and leave it in the break room at the end of the day prior to the party. Then skip the party. How your boss treats you is a reflection of him, not you. If he tries to humiliate you on your last day, try to see his actions for what they really are: evidence of his lack of character. Notice how this makes you feel and be thankful you don't have to carry that with you into the next chapter. This man has to live with himself every day. You get to move on to better things. Take a picture of the cake. Take a picture of the boss. Take a picture if the company logo. Post story on your city's subreddit. Watch the whole business fail afterwards. Bring your own bigger cake and act thrilled and tell everyone about the amazing new job you're leaving for. I would kill I am with kindness. Even if the cake says "good luck, you're sick, going to need it," or something equally passive or not so much aggressive. Your only reaction is "you got me a cake"? Act like it's the kindest thing they could have done. Make him eat his own disappointment at not punishing you or shaming you. Even if that cake says "fuck you," you just laugh like it's a witticism and serve him the first slice. The one that says "fuck." Obviously. Act like you had no idea they liked you this much. No. He needs to be less insensitive. There is a reason why 4 people have left. Giving notice is really not going to make a difference here. Your boss has made it clear what you are to him. And he's not going to give you a glowing reference because you finish your notice period. Just politely tell him you are resigning. And today will be your last day. Unless, of course, you want to wait until the cake is presented and then just flip the thing off the table. Yeah, that's even better. Let him eat cake. Report your hostile work environment to the EEOC. Then he can get himself a cake when he leaves. Call in sick with an eye problem. If they ask any questions, just tell them you don't see yourself making it in that day. Show up, grab the cake, and leave. Then they don't get to humiliate you and they don't get cake, but you do. To rub in what? That you choose to no longer work with them? I would just be absent without notice and move on. There is nothing they can do to you. Why give them the satisfaction of humiliating you? If they humiliate you on your last day, just say out loud, "This is how this company treats people who put in 5 years," when they feel it's time to move on. No wonder several of us have left recently. Just remember that this is how they'll treat you when you take your next career step as well. Okay, Deal with your emotions about this in advance and decide how you will react for the big reveal. I would go with, lol. This says more about you than it does about me. Everyone can tell how desperately insecure you are. But they won't say it because you pay them. Well, you don't pay me anymore. And you're a weak little child. Then cut a slice of cake and eat it. Offer your pals some cake. If they pull any humiliation or talk down to you, ask if the cake is for you. If they make the mistake and say yes, smile and toss it in the trash. Turn around and say 5 years of work and I get a boss who wants to humiliate me on my last day. This shows a lot about who you all work for. Your boss will definitely not like that. Fuck 'em. Don't show up and get yourself your own cake or other reward. If you have to show up, puke on the cake, or drop it accidentally on purpose. Your boss sounds like a piece of work. Don't say anything to your boss. If you are not required to give notice, quietly pack your stuff up and leave. Never return. Continue with your life and rob him of his sick pleasure to shame you. I would just not show up on Friday. Humiliate them. Sneeze on it accidentally. Or accidentally knock it onto the floor. Fuck that cake. Why bother with any of them? Skip the last day. Don't go to work your last day. What are they going to do? Fire you? Enjoy a quiet morning. Have a relaxing time. And let them wallow in their mire. Why would you even attend? Do you care what these trolls think at this point? Just don't show up. They can have the cake. Why put up with abuse? Do you really think they'll give you a glowing recommendation to your next job? Get real. Bring up what he said in a jokey way when you do the cake presentation farewell words. Add in a and is it any wonder so many people are finding better jobs to boot? Won't do much, but you can at least embarrass them a bit. You've been there for 5 years. Your career is established. Don't show up. Take a sick day. Enjoy your new job. My last day. One person in my department said goodbye to me. Not my supervisor. Co-workers. Nothing. I left a scorched earth exit interview when I left. Fuck them. They don't give a shit, so I didn't either. When they present the cake, go ah smiling face and slide it into the trash and then walk out smiling. Looks like your last day is Thursday. Start taking your personal things home now. Call out that last day. Ah, how sweet. Takes a fistful of cake from the very center. Skip this final kick in the teeth. You don't need this. He's such a jerk that I doubt any of his contacts are worth knowing. Count your blessings. No matter what happens, you're escaping that environment. You win. Just skip work that last day. Show up on cake day. Then leave an hour before cake. You can only be humiliated if you allow it. If you don't give a shit, nothing can bother you. Quit a day earlier. Power move would be going in, taking the cake, not saying a word and just walking out. LMAO. I would show up oblivious. Talk about how nice it is that they'll miss me from the party. And when the cake comes, start scooping bites into my mouth with my grabbers. Talking about how delicious it is. How nice everything is. Way overplaying it. Making eye contact for an uncomfortable amount of time with boss. Make it weird and lean into it. Taking away their power in the situation. But that's me. I'm petty and like cake. Just stop going to work. They don't appreciate you at all. You don't owe them anything. Plus, you can ruin their passive-aggressive cake surprise. Whatever. If they giving me free cake, I'm eating it. Tell them you prefer cheesecake or ice cream cake. Plot twist: OP doesn't even bother to turn up. What exactly are they rubbing in? Aren't you leaving by your own choice? I'm a bit confused. I just wouldn't go. Nobody has time for that.